Welcome. For everyone that doesn't know, my name is Joe. I am the founder and lead educator at Mindful Diabetes Incorporated, the only nonprofit, at least the only nonprofit to my knowledge, whose entire mission is centered around preventing the progression of type 2 diabetes to type 3 diabetes. And when I talk with everyone, a lot of people don't know what type 3 diabetes is, so just briefly, it's Alzheimer's disease. I'm just saying Alzheimer's disease from a metabolic standpoint. And what I mean by that is insulin resistance is a characteristic of type 2 diabetes, but when we treat type 2 diabetes, we only really focus and talk about insulin resistance in the body. And so our goal with mindful diabetes is really to focus on the insulin resistance that can develop in the brain, specifically insulin resistance in a region of the brain called the hippocampus. This region of your brain, believe it or not, is responsible for taking short-term memories and sort of sticking them somewhere, and that gets stored as a long-term memory. And so what's really cool about that is that's why you're able to hopefully remember this conversation we're having about insulin resistance in the brain, because I don't want people to walk away from this video that's going to be titled Join the CAMINO, a campaign centered around funding type 3 diabetes, but more so centered around this topic where I want to help the next generation of scientists sort of correlate this disease together. And so I'm not the first person to describe Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes. It was done in 2005 by brilliant researchers at Brown, people much smarter than myself. So I'm just here to sort of help get this message out to a larger audience. And that's why the Join the Camino campaign is so exciting, because not only do I get to run and on July 1st run 100 kilometers to discuss ways to prevent type 3 diabetes, but my goal is to raise $5,000 to then be able to give 5 $1,000 scholarships to scientists that are in their junior or senior year of their undergrad. So scientist or undergrad, I'm using it synonymously, because just because you don't work in a lab directly doesn't mean you don't have the mentality of a scientist. A scientist is just someone that doesn't take what they hear at face value. I don't want people to say, that guy said type 3 diabetes, so it's a real thing. No, I want you to question me. And so the goal is to pick 5 people that can go to a conference and learn about Alzheimer's disease, learn about diabetes. More details are going to come out in the coming months, but the idea really is to raise awareness about type 3 diabetes, one scientist at a time. That's why, as the founder of this awesome entity, Mindful Diabetes Incorporated, I want to empower the next generation of scientists to sort of connect the dots and help just about everyone else realize what I'm slowly realizing, and that's the connection between what goes into our body, what affects our body, and then what can also affect our brain. And that's why Mindful Diabetes was born. After I lost my grandmother, I was empowered to sort of figure out a way to not let that happen to anyone else. And so the first pillar that I discuss in our guide, Pathways to Wellness, is obviously going to be what goes into your body, so your diet. So what goes into your diet, what goes into your time. So I only ask people for 15 minutes of exercise. So 15 minutes of exercise in the morning, 15 minutes of exercise in the evening. That can go so far. That adds up to over 10,000 minutes of exercise in a single year. So let that sink in. And then lastly, because 3 pillars is enough, I talk about just how you can be around the people. And what I mean by that is that when you're with your friends and family, community makes you a better person. And so, one thing that we're working to build with Mindful Diabetes is we want to build a community around preventing type 3 diabetes. And that's where our AI has come in. If you go to the website jare.fun, play around with Jare. Learn ways you can prevent type 3 diabetes. And that's it. Join the Camino. Watch me run and learn stuff every day. I learn new things and I try to share them with you. So whether you find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, I'm there. Let's connect. Let's chat. It's with nothing but love. Take care.